Did you know that sperm whales live in pods, and when they go to sleep, they all sleep vertically, so it looks like this? I don't know about you, but that is terrifying to me, and it got me thinking that there's actually a lot of things that I don't know about whales. Whales are super cool, and I'd like to learn more about whales, so that's what this video is going to be. I'm going to be reading about whales, watching videos about whales, just overall learning as much about whales that I possibly can. So let's deep dive into whales together. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing, and let's get to it. All right, so to start our learning, we're going to be looking at us.whales.org, a reputable information source about whales and dolphins. They've got articles, they do conservation work. Let's check it out. Okay, so first up, how many types of whales are there? To be honest, we only have estimates as scientists are still discovering new species and subspecies. And in fact, an entirely new species of baleen whale was recognized in the Gulf of Maine in 2021. That's crazy. Okay, it appears the whale that they discovered is called Rice's whale, and it looks like that from above. Like I said, I don't know much about whales yet. That just looks like a blue whale to me, right? Like if you look at a blue whale from above, okay, like that or that, and then you look at the rice whale, I don't know, that's pretty similar, but let's keep going. Cetaceans are broadly divided into two groups depending on whether they have teeth or baleen. Okay, baleen, I'm pretty sure that is, instead of teeth, they have like a filter. Okay, yeah, there's a pretty good picture. Also, that is terrifying. Like, that is taking up the whole screen. Okay, so that is what is the baleen part, which more specifically are plates or whalebone in their mouths to sieve plankton from the water. I've never heard the word sieve before. Oh. Now that I see this kitchen tool, I know it just means to filter. Okay, here we go. Here's the actual article on baleen, which is a filter feeding system inside the mouths of baleen whales. To use baleen, the whale first opens its mouth underwater to take in water. The whale then pushes the water out, and animals such as krill are filtered by the baleen and remain as a food source for the whale. All right, let's check out this video of a blue whale, which is a baleen whale, okay, not a toothed whale, eating some krill. Oh my God. Oh, they didn't get it all on camera. That's okay. That's insane how much it opened up its mouth. And when approaching the krill, they speed up to about 6.7 miles per hour. Opening their mouth can cause them to slow down significantly. That makes sense. They may be selective eaters, only going after patches of krill that are big enough to be worth the large amounts of energy it takes for the whale to accelerate to eat. Oh, that's crazy. Blue whales are literally so big that they have to like be cognizant of conserving their energy, so they don't even really bother with eating smaller amounts of krill. It has to be like worth their time. Depending on the species, a baleen plate can be 1.6 to 11.5 feet long. God, just imagine that swallowing you whole. For most species of cetaceans, reminder, cetaceans are comprised of whales, dolphins, and porpoises. Toothed whales account for most species of cetaceans and include everything from the massive sperm whale to beaked whales and all dolphins and porpoises. Okay, that is interesting. All dolphins and porpoises. They eat mainly larger fish, squid, octopus, and some eat other marine mammals, but their teeth are not for chewing. In fact, the spiral tusk of a narwhal is actually a massive tooth. That's a tooth? What? Yeah, it really is. It's an overgrown, spiralized tooth, and it's one of the only two teeth they'll ever possess. Anyways, moving on. So which cetaceans do we call whales versus dolphins or porpoises? It isn't very scientific, but whales typically include all the baleen whales and the larger toothed whales, such as the sperm whale, beluga, narwhal. Okay, so our narwhal, which again, that tusk is a tooth apparently, is a whale. Specifically, it's not a dolphin, it's not a porpoise, it's a whale. All right, how do whales feed? Let's learn something. Baleen whales and toothed whales feed very differently. While toothed whales are grabbers and suckers, baleen whales are either skimmers, suckers, or gulpers. Okay. One thing they have in common is that they do not use their teeth to chew food. Toothed whales do not have molars for chewing their food. They swallow it whole or in large chunks.
No, beluga whales do not chew their food. They simply swallow all of their fish completely whole. They can use their jaws to crack open things like clams, crustaceans, or mollusks, but they swallow all of those whole too.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess they don't even use the teeth to actually chew the food. That's so fascinating. All right, back to the article. Okay, so earlier we learned that there's 90 species of whale, dolphins, and porpoises, but specifically whales, there are 41 species of whale. All right, let's learn about the biggest whale, which is the blue whale. Okay, the blue whale is not only the biggest whale living today, but the biggest creature ever to have lived. Really, it's bigger than those like ginormous dinosaurs with like the super long neck. Hold on. Dinosaur with really long neck. Okay, that's right. Sauropods, which are a very large herbivorous dinosaur, well known for their exceptionally long necks and tails. Okay, so in 2014, the fossilized remains of a previously unknown species of sauropod was discovered in Argentina, the titanosaur. So hold on, what are the measurements for a blue whale? The heaviest blue whale was also a female. She weighed 418,878 pounds. Okay, so the largest sauropod ever was 77 tons, which comes out to 154,000 pounds. This blue whale was 418,000 pounds. Oh my gosh. Blue whales in the southern hemisphere are generally larger than those in the northern hemisphere, and female blues are larger than males. Okay, fun fact, female blue whales larger than male blue whales. Blue whales are now rare due to a widespread commercial whaling. Many populations were driven to near extinction, while some distinct populations may have been wiped out completely. Okay, so blue whales, population's not doing very good. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Before whaling, there may have been as many as 250,000 blue whales, but today it is one of the world's rarest species with a population of just 10 to 25,000. All right, sticking on the trend of what's the largest. Which whale has the largest brain? The largest brain on Earth belongs to the sperm whale. The volume of their supersized brains is almost 500 cubic inches, which is more than 5 times the volume of ours. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what does that look like next to each other? Okay, so it looks like that's a sperm whale brain and that's a human brain. Jesus. Okay, the question is, they've got a huge brain, but how smart are they? How smart are sperm whales? Let's find out. A 2021 study published in Biology Letters, for example, looked back to 19th century historical logbooks from whalers. Researchers found that sperm whales were at first easy to catch, but almost immediately the whales learned how to evade hunters, and whaling success plummeted by 60%. The study hypothesizes that the whales passed information to one another through echolocation to avoid being caught. Okay, that's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. Humans, whales, and dolphins all have spindle neurons in their brains. These nerve cells make us capable of deeper thought, such as reasoning skills, memory, communication, and adaptive thinking. And like humans, whales have emotional intelligence, meaning they're capable of empathy, grief, and sadness. Still, in proportion to our body size, the human brain is bigger than that of the sperm. Okay, in proportion to our body size, the human brain is bigger than that of the sperm whale. So it seems like it's likely that we are smarter than sperm whales, okay, but it's not exactly clear, and it's hard to study this kind of thing. All right, whale song. Let's learn about it. Whales make music. Their songs are complex and must be learned from other whales. Blue whales, fin whales, bowhead whales, minke whales, sperm whales, and humpback whales all sing. Humpback whales have even appeared in the album charts. What? Would you look at that? Songs of the Humpback Whale album, released August 1970 by Roger Payne, who is a bioacoustician. This album publicly demonstrated for the first time the elaborate whale vocalizations of humpback whales. Selling over 100,000 copies, it became the best-selling environmental album in history. Wow. Hold on, we gotta hear this. Oh my goodness, the whole album is on YouTube. It's so scary. I can't be the only one that's like absolutely terrified by that. It just sounds like a sound from a horror movie, right? Like you're like, you know, like the murderer is like waiting behind the door, and like the innocent person is like slowly walking there, like they think something might be there, and like this is the sound that you hear. Longest and most complex songs. Let's learn about it. Male humpback whales are the best known singers. Their songs are beautiful, complex, and ever evolving. Their songs can last for up to 30 minutes. The sounds they sing span 7 octaves. Okay, so like, just for example, like, okay, wait a minute. I guess I underestimated humans. The Guinness World Record for the singer with the largest known vocal range is Tim Storms with a 10-octave range. What?
Amazing grace.
Oh my!
Storms has the world's deepest voice. It goes so low the human ear can't hear it.
Okay, I guess humans have a larger vocal range than whales. Anyways, continuing. Like I said, the sounds they sing span 7 octaves. I guess humans can go 10 octaves, apparently. During the winter mating season, they repeat their songs over and over for hours at a time and gradually change them as the breeding season progresses. Each year, a new song is produced. That makes sense. You gotta keep it fresh. You gotta keep the music fresh. All right, now let's look at the most diverse songs. Bowheads have the greatest number and diversity of songs of all whales, and they like to improvise like jazz musicians. Okay, so the bowhead whale. All right, that's what we're looking at right now. They improvise like jazz musicians. Oh my goodness. Let's hear what that sounds like. It sounds like it's like scraping metal on metal. That's so insane. Now, while we're on the topic of whale songs, one thing I did already know is I want to mention about sperm whales. Sperm whales are regarded as the loudest animals on the planet, capable of making sounds up to 230 decibels. To put that in perspective, thunder is 120 decibels. Normal human conversation is 60 decibels. This says that continued exposure to noise above 70 dB over time will cause hearing loss. It will damage you if you are near them when they vocalize at this level. Also, fun fact, the second loudest animal on the planet is a shrimp, which can get to 189 decibels. All right, next up, let's look at the evolution of whales. How did whales evolve? Looking at a whale's body and biology, there are plenty of clues that their ancestors lived on land. Okay, I think I've heard this before. They evolved from wolf-like creatures, I believe. They breathe air and nurse their young with their own milk. They also have paddle-shaped flippers, which encase hand bones with fingers. As embryos, whales have tiny back limbs, which disappear before birth. Hippos are the closest living relatives of whales, but they are not the ancestors. A hippo? Hippos. Okay. Modern-day ungulates include hippopotamuses, giraffes, deer, pigs, and cows. Unlike the hippo's ancestor, whale ancestors moved to the sea and evolved into swimming creatures over a period of about 8 million years. That's just crazy to me that, you can go from, just living on land to being an entirely water-dwelling creature. The theory is that some land-living ungulates favored munching on plants at the water's edge, which had the added advantage of allowing them to easily hide from danger in shallow water. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Not everything can go into water, so if you're able to be in water for a certain amount of time, it makes for a good hiding spot. Unless, I guess, there's other predators in the water, which I feel like being in the water is scarier than being on land. I don't know. Over time, their descendants spent more and more time in the water and their bodies became adapted for swimming. That makes sense. Their front legs became flippers and a thick layer of fat called blubber replaced their fur coats to keep them warm and streamlined. Eventually, their tails became bigger and stronger for powerful swimming and their back legs shrunk. Gradually, their nostrils moved to the top of their heads so that they could breathe easily without the need to tilt their heads while swimming. All right, another fun fact. Which whale lives the longest? Bowhead whales. The maximum lifespan for bowheads is currently unknown, but multiple lines of evidence, including stone harpoon tips found embedded in bowhead blubber and aging analysis of their eye tissues, point to bowheads being able to live for at least up to 150 years and possibly over 200 years. Jesus. Okay, so hold on. Oldest whales of all time. Bowhead whales. One specimen was estimated to be 211 years old, but that's not even there's a Greenland shark that lives for 400 years. Yeah, here it is. Greenland shark. Greenland sharks have the longest lifespan of any known vertebrate, estimated to be between 250 and 500 years. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. What's just like the longest living creature? It's a glass sponge. Scientists estimate that they can live for more than 10,000 years. 10,000 years? Okay, that's a glass sponge, I guess. That's what a glass sponge looks like. While sea sponges are often thought of as rocks or plants, they are in fact members of the animal kingdom. Glass sponges, one type of sponge known for their large, complex, glass-like skeletons, spend their lives attached to hard surfaces, filtering water to consume bacteria and plankton. Their body structure provides a habitat for other animal species like small crustaceans. All right, well, we've reached the bottom of the article, but I'm not satisfied with our deep dive yet, so I say we take a look at some individual species of whales, some more well-known, popular ones, as well as some lesser-known, obscure ones. So, why don't we start with beluga whales? Again, beluga whales are toothed whales, all right? They're known for their white color and range of vocal sounds, earning them the title of canary of the sea.
Did you know that belugas are actually known as canaries of the sea because of the wide range of vocalizations they can make? Juno knows 6 different vocalizations, and he can demonstrate some of those now.
Whoa. That's crazy. The super high pitched, some of those kind of sound like a fart to me. I don't know. That was really cool though.
Most young belugas are gray. They take about 10 years to turn white.
Okay, interesting.
Adults only grow to 3 or 4 meters long. They are creatures of ice and cold. Most belugas live thousands of kilometers north of the St. Lawrence River.
Okay, yeah, I definitely knew that they were like more like in the Arctic. I guess they're like super far north. Also, that's so fascinating. They're not always white. Okay, so here you've got a baby beluga whale with I guess its mom. I guess yeah, like it looks not as white as the mom. Looks kind of gray. Okay, that's a pretty good like difference. So that's like the adult beluga whale in the back. That is the baby beluga whale. Definitely gray, and its mom is white. Okay. Belugas use sounds and echolocation for movement communication, to find breathing holes in the ice, and to hunt in dark or turbid waters. They produce a rapid sequence of clicks that pass through the melon. The melon? The melon is a mass of adipose tissue found in the foreheads of all toothed whales.
This is a beluga whale, and its head is really squishy. Now, while it might look crazy and bizarre, this weird head, known as a melon, is actually a huge advantage for them. You see, these whales make sounds that bounce off of nearby objects. This tells them how far away they are, giving them a sense of direction. And their melon is crucial for producing and directing those sounds. In fact, these whales can actually change the shape of their melon to get better readings.
It kind of reminds me of like in that part of the video right there where it's like you're like seeing the melon like go up and down.
These whales can actually change the shape of...
It reminds me of that one monkey. Y'all have to know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that one. That one. I don't know why, it just reminds me of that. Okay. Anyways, moving on. All right, well, next up, why don't we take a look at killer whales? While technically they're dolphins, they're also technically whales. Orcas are the largest species in the dolphin family because of their size, and because they are also called killer whales, they're sometimes called whales. Other people call them dolphins. Both are right, and it all depends how specific someone is in their classification. Okay, so remember how baby beluga whales are gray and their mothers, like the adult ones, are white? Well, apparently baby killer whales are orange. Scientists theorize that this is because calves are not born with a thick layer of blubber, therefore their blood vessels near the surface of the skin result in this color pattern. Like, look at that. It's very orange. That looks a little less orange, but also not quite white. This says that most calves become black and white within their first year. So only like the super babies are the orange. Damn, look at that. It's like jumping out of the water. Definitely orange. Also, apparently orcas are born with whiskers. Calves lose their facial hair soon after birth, but the hair follicles remain visible. Now, we cannot talk about killer whales without talking about their culture. They have learned behaviors from each other. I do not know much about this, so let's learn a little bit about it. Orcas have evolved complex culture, a suite of behaviors animals learn from one another. They communicate with distinctive calls and whistles, they can live 60 years or more, and they stay in tighted matrilineal, aka led by older females that model specific behaviors to younger animals. Okay, but orcas do all kinds of weird things.
And now for the latest orca trend not seen since the summer of 1987. The bullies of the briny deep spotted wearing dead salmon on their head like a hat. Yep, you heard that right.
Orcas have fashion, apparently.
In all seriousness, there's a couple of theories behind why they may be wearing these hats. The first is there is so much salmon around at the moment. So are they taking some of the salmon and saving it for later? The other theory is
Okay, so maybe it's not just fashion.
Just playing with their food. We don't know, but
that's what I would guess.
Need to do
I would guess they're just playing with their food.
Is to follow this behavior a bit more carefully and to
look, okay, there it is. It comes up out of the water.
A bit more carefully and to see whether or not they eat the salmon or whether or not they abandon the salmon, and that will tell us a little bit more.
So orcas wear salmons, maybe as hats, maybe to, I guess, just have some fun. Yeah, the motivations for salmon hats are unclear, but other orcas will mimic the behavior once it begins. See, that's the thing that's so fascinating to me, is that they learn from each other, and their whole life is not just based around like survival. They have fun. Also, orcas are incredibly fast. They've been recorded at speeds up to 33.5 miles per hour. There's that one video of like the orca swimming super fast to catch up to a boat.
Right under us, still. Right there. They write that there was a pod of 30 orcas swimming and following their boat.
That's just terrifying. And they're going, look how fast that boat's going, and they're just easily keeping up.
And they were jumping in the boat's wake, some even getting a little too close for comfort. Oh, dude!
Oh my god. Okay, that's not the video I was thinking of, but hold on, let's find it. Okay, yes, this is it. All right, you can kind of see right there the orca's like coming out of nowhere. God, this is so scary to me. It's so fast. It doesn't look real to me, but Jesus, that's real. It's real. 33.5 miles per hour. For reference, the absolute fastest human swimmers only reach 5 miles per hour. So Joe Schmo over here, me, if I tried to go swim, I probably, I don't know, wouldn't even get to 3 miles per hour. 33.5 miles per hour. A wild orca pod can cover over 99 miles a day. Foraging and socializing, 99 miles. That's basically 4 marathons. Okay, fascinating. How do orcas sleep? Orcas sleep in a very different way to humans. We have a breathing reflex, and when we sleep or become unconscious, we continue to breathe automatically. Orcas cannot sleep in this way. They have to remain conscious. Okay, so I guess they'll die if they go to sleep all the way. This is because their breathing is not automatic. They have to actively decide when to breathe. That would get so exhausting. To get around this, orcas only allow 1/2 of their brains to sleep at a time. They just sound, how are they not just tired constantly? They're swimming 99 miles a day. They reach up to 35 miles an hour. They don't even fully go to sleep. When sleeping, orcas swim very slowly and steadily close to the surface. So they basically just never stop swimming. Okay, this dude is gonna swim with some orcas. Bruh, I just don't get in the water. Oh my god. Oh my. Wow. That is beautiful.
I slid in the water and 2 orcas are swimming at me, like at an angle, like from down there up towards my face. And I have this moment of panic, like, do I get out of the way? Are they coming to eat me? And then they turned, like, kind of like.
Okay, but that's the thing, is like they might be coming to eat you, and yet you still got in the water. Like, can't you, whatever research you're doing, can't you do it without risking your life like that? Like when people go look at great white sharks, they like get in that cage, like, you know what I'm talking about? But I guess they don't do that with orcas. I don't know why. Why do people swim with orcas? It just seems insane to me. Okay, this is interesting. Norway is the only place in the world where swim with orca programs are conducted legally. So the number of operators and vessels has multiplied in recent years. So it's like illegal. in most places. In the United States, it is illegal to swim with or interact with wild orcas due to the Marine Mammal Protection Act and the Endangered Species Act. Apparently, to swim with orcas in Norway, it's gonna run you $5,000 to $6,400 US. So you're gonna pay basically 5-6K to potentially get eaten alive by an orca or a pack of orcas. I guess, like, do orcas, like, do they even attack humans? Let's find out. Orcas in the wild almost never attack humans, with no documented cases of orcas killing humans in their natural habitat. I guess that's why we swim with them. Such attacks are less common than those by captive orcas. That makes sense. Like, the stress of being in captivity and realizing that the humans are your captors, you might crash out. You might, you know, decide to attack one. All right, well, we just talked about killer whales. There's apparently a whale called a false killer whale. Let's take a look at these. Oh my goodness. Look at that teeth. It looks like it's basically a killer whale, but without the white spots. Look at that. It's a false killer whale leaping out of the water. Okay, so it looks like false killer whales are very endangered. Okay, this is interesting. Apparently, false killer whales are almost always seen in association with oceanic bottlenose dolphins. These bottlenose dolphins are different to the ones that are often seen up around the coastline. It is not fully understood as to why the two species hang out together, but theories include an invasion from predators and improving foraging success. That's insane. They literally form pods with other dolphin species. It can form close bonds with other species as well as have interactions with them. But the false killer whale has also been known to eat other dolphins. Okay. It's like some praying mantis type behavior going on, if you know what I mean. Oh my goodness. There is something called a wholphin, which is an extremely rare cetacean hybrid born from a mating of a female bottlenose dolphin and a male false killer whale. This type of hybrid was considered unexpected given the sometimes extreme size differences between a female bottlenose dolphin 2 meters long and a male false killer whale over 5 meters long.
So in today's edition of I Don't Know Anything, we have a...
Look at that. A wholphin.
Wholphin. This is an extremely rare hybrid of a female dolphin and a male killer whale.
It looks like the alien from like the Alien movies. Okay, you can't tell me that that doesn't look like that, at least a little bit.
How does God even debut new animals? Did like a tiger walk out the...
Its teeth are just look so sharp and they're like spaced out in a weird way. It kind of also looks like Rayquaza. All right, next up, let's take a look at minke whales. They look very pointy to me, almost like a crocodile or something. They don't seem very big to me. I mean, I'm sure they're still massive. Yeah, no, they're pretty massive. Males get up to 7 tons. Females, even bigger at 8 tons. Okay, that's a minke.
It's a dwarf minke whale.
Minke. My apologies. Minke, not mink. Minke.
One of the smallest of the great whales. The mechanical twang of their call is so powerful, it vibrates through the body. Being face to face with
look at it like that
is an incredible experience.
I know I've been saying that it seems crazy to me that you'd get in the water with like a killer whale or like just any of these whales, but I feel like I would actually break down in tears at the absolute majesticness and beauty of actually seeing this in person. I feel like I have to do this one day. Okay, well, apparently minke whales are prey for killer whales. Killer whale predation on minke whales has been well documented. A study in 1975 found that in 49 killer whale stomachs, 84% had consumed minke whale. Poor minke whales. Minke whale carcasses investigated after attacks show that killer whales have an affinity for minke tongues and lower jaw. The anti-predatory mechanism of the minke whale is strictly a flight response, as when this fails, no physical retaliation is observed. Essentially like they roll over and die. Okay, this says that minke whales are members of the baleen whale family, are the smallest of the rorquals. They are one of the most abundant rorqual in the world, and their population status is considered stable throughout almost their entire range. Interesting. So minke whales, population-wise, are doing pretty good. All right, now let's take a look at right whales. Are they right? Are they left? I don't know. Okay, but they look pretty interesting. That looks very different from some of these other ones. It looks like almost like stunted or something. I don't know.
The North Atlantic right whale is a critically endangered baleen whale species and one of the largest animals in the world. Researchers estimated the species totaled only 340 individuals in 2021, representing a continuing decline in the last decade.
340 individuals total. That is brutal.
As a result of whaling, the population was driven from historic numbers as high as 10 to 15,000 or more animals to the point where we are now looking at roughly only 400 North Atlantic right whales.
Okay, one thing I'm noticing is that all of them seem to have like barnacles or something. What is that? Okay, so specifically the southern right whale is the only one of the 3 right whale species that regularly hosts barnacles on its callosities. Ew. I don't want to look at that. Okay, that literally sent a shiver up my spine. Right whales seek out enormous patches of zooplankton for food, and the attached barnacles on their literal head feed off the smaller plankton that float around their hosts. All right, here we go. Here's the article on whale barnacle. They typically attach to baleen whales and sometimes settle on toothed whales. Okay. Oh, God. So that's what barnacles look like close up. God, that is so gross. And you got these, like, little things, like, getting in there. Ugh. Okay, so there's 3 main types of right whales. North Atlantic right whale. Almost all the 400 North Atlantic right whales live in the western North Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so western North Atlantic Ocean is going to be up here, like northern US and Canada. You've also got North Pacific right whales. The North Pacific right whale appears to occur in 2 populations. The population in the eastern North Pacific Bering Sea is extremely low, numbering about 30 individuals. A larger western population of 100 to 200 appears to be surviving in the Sea of Okhotsk, but very little is known about this population. Thus, the 2 northern right whale species are the most endangered of all large whales and 2 of the most endangered animal species in the world. Man, so right whales really not doing too good. Okay, so now we've got southern right whales. The last major population review of southern right whales by the International Whaling Commission was in 1998. That was a while ago. Researchers used data about adult female populations from 3 surveys and extrapolated to include unsurveyed areas and estimated accounts of whales and calves. So like it's not even like really based in that much like certainty. Giving an estimated 1997 population of 7,500 animals, 7,500 southern right whales. Although more recent data from 2007 indicate that those survey areas have shown evidence of strong recovery with a population approaching twice that of a decade earlier. Okay, that's promising. Right whales swim slowly, reaching only 5 kn or 9.3 kilometers an hour. Hold on. Okay, so that's 5.77 miles per hour. So that's only a little bit faster than the absolute fastest human swimmers. They are highly acrobatic and frequently breach, jump clear of the sea surface, tail slap, and lobtail. Lobtail? Oh, okay, lobtail, I see. All right, now I say we finish off strong by taking a look at gray whales, which, right off the bat, again with the barnacles. Lots of barnacles on gray whales. Take a look at that. That is just unbelievable. They're so huge, and they're just covered in barnacles. There are 2 stocks of gray whales, the eastern population, which is found along the coasts of the United States and Canada, and the western population, which is found along the coasts of Russia and Japan. Okay, so apparently gray whales are also known as knuckleback whales. This nickname refers to the distinctive bumps or raised areas on the dorsal back side of the whale. Okay, interesting. Take a look at that. It's like pulling out of the water. That's pretty, looks like some knuckles.
One of the largest animals in the world is making a comeback after centuries of overhunting. These marathon swimmers have the longest migrations of all mammals, and today we are meeting them on their journey. Gray whales are relatively large whales.
Okay, look at this graphic. So gray whales are not even really the biggest whales at all. They're coming in 4th place. We were looking at minke whales earlier. Those are small. Again, blue whales are just ridiculously large. Then we got fin, then we got humpback, then we've got gray whales.
Whales, measuring about 15 meters in length and weighing a hefty 27,000 kilograms. Their name comes from their gray pockmarks, which are usually scars from cuts and parasite wounds. From Alaska to Baja California, Mexico, is home to the only healthy gray whale population in the world, with over 20,000 individuals.
Okay, 20,000, that seems pretty good. Also here, you can see one poking out of the water, definitely got the knuckle back there.
To population genetics specialists, there used to be over 100,000 before whaling began in full. Gray whales are quite solitary, but right now we're standing right in the middle of their migratory path. When it's time to move on, they do end up creating almost a parade, and this area becomes quite populated with gray whales. The only other population lives in the western Pacific, mostly around Russia and Japan, but it's critically endangered, also due to overhunting.
Okay, so it looks like you've got two populations of gray whales. Basically, on the Asia side of the Pacific and then on the Americas side of the Pacific.
Population has become functionally extinct, with only about 100 whales left. They also used to be found in the North Atlantic, along European coasts and eastern North America, but disappeared in the 1700s, likely also due to overhunting.
It's just like the more you learn about whales, the more you realize that we've just been killing them off for years.
If you ever see a gray whale spray at the surface of the water, you might just want to say gesundheit, because that is their nose. In fact, mysticetes like the gray whale have a blowhole that actually looks like a nose, because they have two nostrils sitting on top.
Okay, hold on. I feel like we're talking about gray whales right now, but we need to learn a little bit more about blowholes. Whale blowholes. A blowhole is the hole at the top of the head through which the animal breathes air. In baleen whales, these are in pairs. That's why it looks like nostrils. It evolved by a gradual movement of the nostrils to the top of the head. So it literally is nostrils, basically. Air sacs just below the blowhole allow whales to produce sounds for communication and for toothed whales' echolocation. When whales dive underwater, their nasal plug covers the nasal passage to the blowhole. Okay, because I was gonna say, wouldn't water just rush into the blowhole? I mean, not necessarily. I mean, when humans go underwater, we don't just well, I mean, your nose can take in water. You have to kind of be careful about it. As whales reach the water surface to breathe, they forcefully expel air through the blowhole. The exhalation is released into the comparably low pressure colder atmosphere, and any water vapor condenses. This spout, known as the blow, is often visible from far away as a white splash. Baleen whales have two blowholes positioned in a V shape, while toothed whales have only one blowhole. For toothed whales, the blowhole of a sperm whale, a toothed whale, is located left of center in the frontal area of the snout. Contrary to popular belief, whales don't actually release water from their blowholes. Instead, they expel a powerful burst of air, which creates a misty spray on the whale's head due to the force of expulsion. The spray is composed of mucus, oils, and a bit of water from the wet surface of the blowhole. Okay, so that's actually disgusting. So when they're spraying, it's not water. I always just thought they were spraying water. Okay, so this video is Whale Blows a Rainbow by Tourists.
It's just checking it out. Just making sure we're okay.
Wow. Okay, but that's, again, I guess that's not actually entirely water. So yeah, no, whales do not blow water out of their blowholes. Whales exhale a powerful burst of air from their blowhole, and the force of this exhalation creates a misty spray of air, mucus, and some water. Okay, actually just kind of disgusting, I guess. All right, this is going to be the end of my deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much more about whales. I hope you've learned something too, following along. I'm gonna keep doing more of these. I like animals, I like learning about animals. So I hope to see you all in the next one. Thank you so much.